I am confused as to why we are not, as a country, really talking about this. I'm going to tell you why on today's episode of Emergency Rant with Bezoslice. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to All Elite Gaming so you can get this content and all the amazing content that we have. Let's get into the show.
This is Emergency Rant with Bezoslice, your signal to vent, shout, and set it straight.
So on last week's episode, before we get into today's episode, I want to thank everyone who watched Emergency Rant with Bezoslice with me, yours truly, last week. We had a lot of people showing us love. Not really anybody disagreed with me on there, which was kind of surprising. I was expecting some detractors on there, but that's okay. That's fine. That's what this is all about. Now, I told you guys on this show, I'm going to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about, straight up. Last week, we talked about the Miami Dolphins. This week, I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I know that there are 3 rules that people say you should never have a conversation with. Religion, politics, and sports. We hit the sports thing last week. Might as well hit on politics. Now, why am I bringing up this conversation about politics? Well, recently in Charlotte, North Carolina, ICE, Department of Homeland Security and Immigration Services, invaded Charlotte, North Carolina, and came into this country to take away criminals, illegal criminals in the United States. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, I had a very thorough, thoughtful conversation with a buddy of mine not too long ago, and we had a healthy conversation, which this is the reason why I wanted to bring it up. I feel like in society, from my producer, MVR owner, who is killing it and is kicking ass and taking names like he always does, shout out to him, to a friend of mine who is a devout Democrat. It doesn't matter what party affiliation you're associated with. I feel like as a country, we can have a healthy dialogue and a healthy conversation about politics without effectively your diversifying your relationship to the point that it's beyond repair. That's factual. I was raised back in the days that, you know what, I may not agree with somebody, but at the end of the conversation or the debate or whatever you want to call it, we would go get a slice of pizza or go get a beer or whatever the case may be. That's how it was back in my days. And to a certain degree, there are a lot of people that are out there that do feel the same way that I feel. That you can have a conversation, whether you're left or whether you're right, you can have that conversation and not affect your relationship. Whether it's family, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your boyfriend, whether it's your girlfriend, your partner, whoever it may be. I feel like in society, we have lost focus on how we approach conversations about real issues. It's easy to talk about sports. It's easy to talk about music. It's easy to talk about pop culture. It's easy to talk about who is MVR's favorite movie actor, who is MVR's favorite sports athlete. And we could agree or disagree, or even mine. But the reason why I bring that up is because recently, well, more than 10, for the last 10 years, politics have taken a turn for the worse. To the point where, as a society, we can have a conversation and a trigger word. I'm going to say it, guys. My producer is nervous because I'm going to say the word Trump. Nothing? Okay, good. So let me continue with the conversation. That word is mentioned And there are people that will flip the fuck out every time that he's mentioned. And some people have merits behind it and they might have a healthy conversation. Others are just basing their thoughts and their feelings on what other people tell them or what the TV tells them or what they heard. And I will throw air quotes out there, heard. Let's get into a dive here, the true meaning of the definition of the word politics. So, politics, according to the Oxford Dictionary, states that the activities associated with the governance of a country or other area, especially the debate or conflict among individuals or parties having or hoping to achieve power. Another definition of that term says activities within an organization that are aimed at improving someone's status or position are typically considered to be devious or divisive. Why does it have to be that this ugly word to a lot of people, politics, is devious or divisive? Let's set the record straight, shall we? First of all, this country, our founding parents, came into this country, discovered this country. And that's another debate because of the Indians and all this stubborn stuff. And I get it, that's fine. But I'm not talking about who discovered America, and I'm not talking about what we did with the Indians, and I'm not talking about any of that stuff. The reason why English colonies migrated to what is now the United States of America was to get away and develop a free country for everyone. And I mean everyone. And the fact of the matter is that we have people in life that will dictate, manipulate, and coerce the circumstantial situations when it comes to that word politics. Let me explain.
Hey Benny, there's a mysterious truck in the middle of the road where I'm walking.
Oh, well before you leave, accept my trade, damn it. Give me my inheritance check.
Cocaine Cola. Fuck yeah!
Who leaves a singular curly fry unattended? That's basically a Craigslist listing. It's free real estate. It's free real estate. Hey, it's free real estate.
Is that Cheryl's?
It's free real estate. Hey, stop, whistle! It's free real estate.
What is up, virgins and virgins?
Like an ice cold Coke.
Yeah, it hits different.
So what crazy thing are we doing today?
I've been thinking.
Cocaine Cola. Fuck yeah!
Oh, my ball! Make it stop! Oh, my ass!
I want to go home. My hat's go.
So, when Barack Obama was running for president of the United States, and he was, let me say, very delicately, a hot topic in a good way. A lot of people loved Barack Obama. He was smooth with his words. He was eloquent with what he said, and people digged him. But there were people that were so naive that didn't really do their research and just went based on what a celebrity said, what a producer of a show said, what I said, or anybody else said, that would deter and confuse the audience that was in the middle that didn't know who to vote for. Because according to a lot of people, if you didn't vote for him, you were racist. And that's farthest from the truth. Look, we live in a country where I can say pretty much whatever I want to without really, majority of the time, any kind of consequence at all whatsoever. Now, of course, there are consequences for things that you say, but I mean by consequences, I mean like, I'm going to say this. I'm going to fart right now. If I were to say that in different countries, I'd probably get arrested or shot or killed, whatever the point may be. But my point that I'm trying to get at is that we are an established country because a lot of people envy what the United States of America is all about. A lot of countries are now doing debates for their regimes that are running their country, from presidents or ambassadors or whoever it is. They're now doing diplomatic process of voting for people in this country. That's what this country is all about. It's having a debate and having a conversation with somebody. And you may not agree with that person, but hearing and having an open mind to have a conversation with that person is so vitally important. That's what makes the fabrication of this country. That's what makes the fabric of the United States of America. It's not about whether so-and-so what they said on CNN or Fox News. No. It's not even about what have you done for me lately. The fabric of why this country is the way it is and why it is. I'm proud to be a United States citizen, even with the craziness that's going on in our country. It's because of the fact that if we were to do this in other countries, people would die. And I mean by the government would kill people. Look, at the end of the day, and I've given this some thorough thought, at the end of the day, we have to come together as a country. And I understand that you may not like my political point of view. Hell, you may not even like what I have to say, and that's okay. But that's where the conversation starts, is hearing what the person has to say, keeping an open mind, giving them the respect that they deserve. And then you can go ahead and have a candid conversation after and rebuttal or give them open rebuke. The Bible says to test the spirits to see if they are true. The Bible also talks about testing, and placing righteous judgment over certain situations, like pastors, if they're legitimately preaching the Word of God based on biblical principles. And the fact of the matter is that we could do the same thing when it comes to politics. Now, I will tell you right offhand, I don't mind sharing this. I am a registered Republican. But I have friends that are Democrat. And they could definitely tell you what I'm about to say. I don't hold what they say against them. I don't throw them under the bus. I don't bash them because I don't agree with their political views. No. I keep an open mind and an open perspective and hear what they have to say and give them the respect that they deserve. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is having that open dialect and having a conversation. Because you know what? One day I can have a conversation about something that's troubling me and my producer could tell me something. And you know what? Maybe I didn't see it that way. I've been on this weight loss journey for over a year now. And I'm proud to say that I've lost over 64 pounds in 13 months. But I didn't lose this weight because of doing things on my own or trying to figure it out and shutting everybody out. No. I listened to other people, pick their brains and ask them, hey, do I need to do this? Or hey, do I need to do that? Now, I can honestly say I'm kind of an expert when it comes to that. But guess what? I'm not naive to the point that I am not that kind of person that I can tell you that I'm confident then I could tell you everything that I'm doing is legit, because there might be some things that I still need to tweak. That's where my friends and my family come in, or random people that I meet off the street, and just pick their brain and I ask them, because I like to soak in information, because that's what it's all about. And that's the same thing with politics. We have to, as a country, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, whatever the case may be, we have to have an open mind and open dialogue. Now, people will say this about President Trump, that he is racist, or he is a fascist, or he's this, or he's that. And you know what? They may be right. Or the Republican Party is this, that, and the other. Now, I will say this. I'm going to give you some facts before we end the show. Fact number one. Abraham Lincoln, who was the president who was trying to end slavery in the United States, was a Republican. He joined the Republican Party in 1856. He helped end the Civil War. Robert Smalls, by the way, in case nobody wanted to know, anybody wanted to know, my apologies. Robert Smalls was a former slave who became free, and he was the first congressman, or first congressman in the U.S. House of Representatives. And guess what party he was? Republican. From South Carolina. Robert Smalls once said this: "My race needs no special defense for the past history of them and this country. It proves them to be equal of any people anywhere. All they need is an equal chance in the battle of life." Isn't that so true? I don't know if my producer can hear me or not, but I'm pretty sure he agrees. Everybody needs an equal chance in the battle of life. No one needs to be less or more, and that goes with politics. The party that wanted to continue slavery, by the way, was Democratic. Believe it or not. Democratic Party before the Civil War was the primary political entity that supported the continuation and expansion of slavery. The Summer Democrats in particular were staunch defenders of the institution, and the party as a whole resisted attempts to abolish or curtail it. The Republican Party was founded in 1854, and especially as an anti-slavery party in opposition to the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which threatened to allow the expansion of slavery into new Western territories. President Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president, and his election on an anti-slavery platform led to the secession of Southern states and the outbreak of the Civil War. Now, it's very important that you say this, and I'm going to throw support to the Democrats. President Bill Clinton, outside of having a woman playing with a saxophone underneath a desk at the Oval Office, was a pretty damn good president. The economy was booming under the Clinton administration. President Jimmy Carter has some controversy, but he was an amazing president too. They're both Democrat. Now, I will say this. When President Trump ran for the first time, I didn't vote for him. As a matter of fact, I voted for myself. I put my name in the write-in ballot, believe it or not. At one point, I thought I was going to get arrested or get in trouble because I did that, but people were like, no, and obviously you can't. You can write whatever name you want to write in. It was between myself and Harambe. But the reality is, at the end of the day, we as a society need to come together and have a healthy conversation about what we do in life and how we pursue it. And I feel like it's very important that we do that, because the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, we have to make sure that we respect one another, we cherish one another, and we revere one another. It's so important that we understand and we try to, of course, get our point across, but keep an open mind. Because when we don't keep an open mind, we cause chaos. And where there's chaos, there's lies, there's deceit, and there's defeat. And at the end of the day, no one really wins. I end you with this. And I'll tell you who wrote it. And I think you know who I'm going to quote. I say to you today, my friends, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and all women are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, with its vicious racists and with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interpression or nullification, one day right after in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with the new meaning, my country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land where the pilgrims pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prestigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the Cavalier slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountains of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. let freedom ring from every hill, molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. When we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every city and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that very day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, great God Almighty, we are free at last. That is from the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A man whose words stood the test of time to this very day. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for listening to this and watching this episode of Emergency Rant with yours truly, Bezoslice. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell us what you think in the comments. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, peace. Later.